I believe that this whole adventure starts with ghosts, because Michael Shara heard the voices, and I knew Michael very well. He died in '88, so we had 8 years where we had a lot of communication together. And Michael Shara, of course, wrote the novel *The Killer Angels*. And he heard voices, and when he first came to the battlefield, he had a vision, the way Joan of Arc had a vision of Pickett's and his divisions coming up the hill to Cemetery Ridge. And when I read the book years later, he wrote it in '74, I read it in '78, I saw it vividly through his text. He was a vehicle for me to come to the Battle of Gettysburg. The same way that we, all of us, myself and Turner Organization, will be a vehicle for millions of people to come to this battle. But I had to hear the voice, and Ted Turner had to hear some voice. You need to ask him what he heard and how he heard, but he had to hear something. So we're all coming to it hearing voices and having a sense of mission to tell this story. And the reenactors clearly have heard their voices. The ghosts have talked to the reenactors because they went out over the last 15, 20 years, as long as there's been this kind of reenacting movement, and went out into the fields, and went out into Shiloh and Manassas and Chickamauga and Lookout Mountain and Gettysburg, and started to do something called reenacting. And some people laugh at them. Some people think, how can grown men put on, you know, uniforms and play soldier? And laugh at them if you want to. But although there's a lot of humor in this endeavor, and there's certainly a lot of humor in visiting reenactments, I don't find myself laughing at them, because they are living embodiments. They are of the 19th century. They're almost like ambassadors of the 19th century to the 20th. And again, relating to what I said earlier, that's not that far away. We are also 19th century people as well as 20th century people. And the next generation, or the next century, people will be looking back to us, and are they going to be looking at us like those, you know, silly, what do we have to do with 20th century people? No, we're all connected. We're connected by time to the past and the present. We're connected horizontally to all the people on the planet, in all cultures and all times. We're connected to all living things. I believe this. You know, we're connected to all living things, to the animals. We're connected in time to the past and the present. And this thing of reenactors is, again, just an embodiment of this kind of feeling that we are with those people and with their concerns. And when you sit down in the encampments, as I have visited during the reenactments, sit around the campfires, and you hear people playing harmonicas or banjos, and they're debating the issues of this particular battle or this particular. It's something very poignant and sweet about it. And if it wasn't for the reenacted movements, this film could not be made. There's no way anybody could afford to put 4,000 men in the field with weapons and cannons and so forth, which they bring to it. So again, and it's again, I can't say this too much, that it's beyond what they look like. It's not just the uniform and the musket. It's the feeling. Now, if you went and uniformed and propped people in, you know, extras someplace, or, you know, like at one point I was considering doing this in Eastern Europe, it seemed like the only place to do it in the early '80s. You'd never have the feeling you have. You'd have people walking around with rifles and uniforms. These people living and breathing the Civil War. So when we had a scene, for instance, with Marty Sheen playing Lee, he rode out, these troops went around him, they were crying out, Lee and Virginia, and they were reaching out to touch him, and it bounced off him, and it bounced back to them, and there was a synergy. It was mystical. And we have many scenes in the film like that, where the energy that the reenactors have brought to it has fed what the actors are doing it, and gave it a beyond an authenticity, a feeling, this intense emotional feeling and passion. So I think in the end of it, all of us hearing these kind of voices of the ghosts have now been embodied by the reenactors, by the actors, and the ghosts now have, in fact, been given a voice. So all these things we've heard in our subconscious or in our sleep or in our dream world, an audience will hear it's being enacted out by Marty Sheen, by Tom Berenger, by Stephen Lang, by Richard Jordan, as Pickett, as Armistead, as Lee, and they are now living in the mythic world of that film brings, you know, that film brings to us and to future generations.